Friday, a chance for thunderstorms with a high around 78. Make it a night to remember at Crooner's Supper Club. Incredible live music, 4-star food, handcrafted drinks, and first-class service, all in the classic supper club setting. Don't miss out. Visit croonersmn.com to plan your perfect night out. That's croonersmn.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, in the evenings on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, and of course in the nighttime hours in Seattle, 1150 AM KKNW. It is the Matt McNeil Show on your Thursday. Good to have you with us today. Guest-free the entire show. Well, outside of my next guest, because we're going out to the Minnesota State Fair. The Gailey Show is out there. You can hear them, of course, here right before my show in Minneapolis, St. Paul. They are on in the mornings in Chicago, WCPT, 5 to 6 a.m., and they are out there right now at the Minnesota State Fair, which is kicked off today. John Parker, Jim. Hi, guys. How are you?
We're doing great.
Great. It's hot. It's hot out here, Matt.
It's always hot out there. There's always one day that's like colder than it should be, and then there's always one day that's like, okay, I'm dying here. Let's go get fries. You know, because that doesn't make. That's it. There's one more. Yep. How busy is it out there? I've heard that it is pretty crowded.
It is packed. We got here in late morning to get everything set up today for the show, and we were shocked at how busy everyone is. It just kind of feels like the vibe that I've been getting here during the show and then beforehand that people are ready for this. People want to be in the Minnesota State Fair at the Great Get Together right now, and it's just kind of got this real light, joyous feeling, which I didn't know what to expect when I got in here today because, you know, the state of the world that you and we're all reporting on a daily basis here at AM 950 Radio, but it is just a really cool, chill vibe right now.
Well, of course, but it's also, let's face it, I mean, as Republicans have labeled us here in the Twin Cities, we're all a bunch of slackers that don't have any jobs anyway. So this is just, this is our annual, let's go on out there and have a great time since we all are unemployed and just waiting for this sucker to roll around. It is packed. Have you had any of the food? Because this is for the people in Chicago, Seattle. What makes the Minnesota State Fair kind of different from a lot of them is it has just a amazing food lineup. Have you guys done any of the food yet?
So the first thing I always do, no matter what, at the Minnesota State Fair is to head to the Mousetrap in the food building and get the bucket of cheese curds, which I will say in the Trump economy is now $2 more than it was last year. We're just going to blame him for that. Trump economy. Thank you very much. That is the first thing I always do. Jim, how about for you? Is your favorite food?
No, I do the cheese curds too. And then I think about my next move. I'm a little more deliberate the next time. So I'm going to wait to see what attracts me.
Matt, we just got a pro tip on our show, the last guest. There's a nitro ice cream in the food building. And then like right around the corner, apparently, is this delicious brownie place, and you put the two together apparently, and it is just a fantastic experience. And I just found that out, and I will be doing that after the show.
2 points. One, it's a shame we don't have a state right next to us that has tons of cheese that we could get cheaper. Second of all, I have no idea why. Hey, Wisconsin, that's an open border, man. You can come on over anytime. National Guard's not there. Second thing is here's my pro tip. Down the University of Minnesota does down by the milk barn down there with all the cows. They have their little ice cream stand. If they have mint and chocolate ice cream, if you ask, they'll make you a grasshopper malt. Oh my. Oh my. If they have, I don't know if they have the mint. They haven't had the mint the last few years, but you can mix and match and it is pretty darn tasty.
Wow.
Well, we'll have to go there today too.
I can leave the show now and go do that.
I've been here 4 hours. I've already gained 10 pounds.
Wow.
But you do get to walk around out there. There is an interesting, as I said, I mean, it's a different kind of state fair. I mean, I've been to a lot of state fairs. Iowa State Fair is very ag heavy, understandably. It has a very different vibe than this one. And I don't know. I don't think it's because it's in the Twin Cities. It's in just on the north side of St. Paul. I don't think it's that, because there's other state fairs that happen in major metro areas. It just, they sort of figured out a way to hold on to the ag side of it, but also embrace the metro side of it, which gets us, once again, it's not just corn dogs. It's not just cotton candy. I mean, I got to go try that Hmong pork shrimp toast.
I've been here.
Oh, I've got to go try that. I mean, it welcomes in the community. The Somali street fries. I mean, it really kind of represents, we have this great ethnic community here in the Twin Cities. Let's put it on display, and it works. The whole damn thing works, and it's fantastic.
It does. And when I first moved to Minnesota 14 years ago, I didn't know what to do with the state fair. Like my partners took me there and I was like, what is this? And I was expecting tractor pulls, county fair, that's where my dad's family's from like northern Michigan. So that's what was in my mind. And I'm like, you could actually go through here and not even deal with the livestock, which I don't recommend doing. I think the cows are absolutely lovely. I go there as well every time to pet the cows. But I'm really resonating with what you're saying right now, is that you can sort of hang out in your areas, but there's just so much here together that it really does show what Minnesota can be when we're doing it right.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't turn its back on the ag. I mean, they have the full ag experience there for sure. You have to go into the poultry barn, because there's always some really weird ones in there. And I don't know what you do with those birds and why you have them on your farm, but they are very impressive. I mean, they've got some headgear going on there. That is very impressive. I'm always amazed by it, because we are, of course, in Minnesota, the upper Midwest, the entire upper Midwest, big ag sector. And yeah, you don't shy away from it. The pigs, you go in there, they got the big pigs, they got all the pigs, they got the sheep, some of them wearing what looks to be very inappropriate clothing. I don't know why. I don't sure. But you always fill up. I always go into the Coliseum. I watch some of the horse racing, the barrel racing, all that good stuff.
Yep.
We don't shy away from the ag stuff here. And what's also fun is, I think a lot of the ag community, as much as they might during the rest of the year kind of, I don't know about going on out there to the Twin Cities, we don't like it. They come on in here and they seem to have a great time too.
Yeah. The 4-H building is hopping. I'll just say that.
Can I tell everyone in metro area, Chicago, Seattle, Minneapolis, St. Paul, my kids were in 4-H.
Really?
They did that. They did the local 4-H, and yes, it wasn't so much crops.
No,
it wasn't so crops or livestock, but there was a lot of great things there, and they also, all of them came out with a fantastic understanding of how the food system works. And so I highly recommend the 4-H. And of course, if you're in Minnesota and you're part of the 4-H, you actually can sleep on the state fairgrounds in one of the most ungodly hot buildings on the planet.
I know.
And just where you have fans, there's no AC. Good luck. You're going to be sweating. It is not pleasant, but it's it's something the kids do. And so it is great fun.
I also I did a little digging around to see all the stuff that was happening this year, and I didn't realize there are 900 free shows and acts that you can go to here. I'm sorry. Let me look at my notes. 900 shows and 100 plus acts over the 12 days of the fair. And that just kind of blew my mind that, there is the ag stuff and we're committed to doing that. And then there's all this other entertainment that they're offering for free.
Mm-hmm. Well, and how about, they got the lumberjack shows, which are fun. Those are free.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Fine Arts Building quite literally becomes the 5th best museum in the state of Minnesota for 12 days. It is unbelievable how quality the art is in that place.
Yep.
You can go. Is it the llama costume contest is tonight, right?
I think so. I was trying to find that actually. Is it tonight?
I think it's sold out. I think they sell out the Coliseum for that because it's an absolute hoot. I mean, it just they dress up. Here comes a llama dressed like Abe Lincoln. It's like, enjoy the theater there, sir. So it's kind of one of those things where it's there is just so much that you can do there, and then of course all the stages and the amount of bands that are recognizable bands that are playing free shows around the entire fairgrounds is great.
Well, we're planning to stay until 10 o'clock tonight, so we're going to get
fireworks.
Whatever trouble we can get into.
Right.
I guess.
Something I also learned today is that the Crop Art Building,
Yeah.
super progressive. So all the progressive listeners of AM 950, check out the Crop Building because apparently that's where all the cool progressives go to submit their materials, their contests, their art.
First of all, whoa. It's if you're going to do this, let's do it right. It's the horticulture building. Thank you very much. Okay. It's the horticulture bit. Not only is the crop art there, the fine honeys are there. And that's not a derogatory term. I'm not MAGA. I'm talking actual honey. The honey is there. The apples are there. The scarecrows are there. The flower show, which rotates the entire fair time, is there. And that's spectacular. Yep. And then, of course, the crop art, which is, it is. the crop art's amazing, and I will just it is a fun event. I wanted to do this. I got to admit, I was looking at some of the pictures early today of some of the crop art, and all the people who came out and did crop art for Speaker Hortman and have that crop art out there as well. I can't wait to go to the horticulture building myself, and it is a lot of fun going there.
Yeah. Do that next.
It is on our to-do list. We're going to be here the entire day.
Okay, so you're not got it's Old Dominion's playing the main stage tonight. That's country. I believe that's country, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
I think so.
But Meg, come on, Meg, I don't know either. I mean, and nothing against Old Dominion. I guarantee you're going to get a good show out there. Thank you. Welcome to town. Megan Trainor's in there tomorrow. Megan Trainor, I'd be that now that's a good show, man.
That's a good show.
I haven't been to the grandstand yet, and there's some folks that are coming that I'm like, maybe it's time to check it out.
Well, I did. Okay, so I'm a big fan of the Canadian band Rush. Rush played there. And by the way, let's go back in time. Back in 1973, when they were a brand new band, they played the fairgrounds on one of the free stages. Rush did.
Wow.
They were there, and they came out on the stage, and they said the last time we were here, I think Alex Lifeson, the guitar player, was just turning 21, and then they were playing the main stage. And from that point forward, that was I love that because that was the Time Machine tour, and they played the entire 2112 album. The 2112 Moving Pictures album, and I gotta admit, I was beside myself. Since that point, it's going to go downhill for me at that point because that's my apex right there, the top of the mountain.
Hey, we've got a special guest here.
Who's there?
Robert Pilot.
Oh, Native Roots Radio.
Native Roots Radio.
Native Roots Radio. I am awake. Robert Pilot.
We also have Greg Bockham here too. We have a bunch. We have more hosts and fans right now here. Isn't that crazy?
Crawling with hosts.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Greg, we got to get Greg out of the sun.
Well,
Greg, come over and say hi and promote your show, Danny.
And he's a nighttime guy. Ghost Box
Robert
Radio.
told me not to come over here because I was going to take away the personality of everyone. So,
okay, Greg? Where's the most haunted place at the State Fairgrounds?
Oh wait, these are headphones.
Oh, he asked where is the most haunted place in the State Fairgrounds.
I would say the most haunted place is probably like the 4-H building or something like that. I think that would be pretty haunted. If they let us just investigate, I could tell you. Yeah. Better. Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Actually, no. It's the line of regret of people that have bought the big bucket of Sweet Martha's cookies and realizing I've just bought 18 pounds of cookies and I got to eat them all by myself. So there's the most haunted group of people there that you're going to find. Gentlemen, all of you guys, Robert, all my best to you. You guys, where are you guys out at right now?
We're at the West End Market here at the Minnesota Get Together. Yeah, so look for us. There's a big windmill right by us, and then we're right next to a taxidermist. So it's definitely cowboys and Indians out here. Wow. So we have these guys. They're slaughtering our relatives and enjoying it, and we're selling swag with sage and sweet.
Guys, I gotta go. Yeah, all right. It's Minnesota. We'll wrap up a little bit more when we come back. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Find a wide selection of outdoor hearth products at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Whether you prefer wood or gas, Woodland Stoves has the fire to fit your home. Pizza aficionados know nothing matches masonry oven baking for capturing flavor and nutrition. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces can easily install one in your home or business. Enthusiasts use these ovens year-round for bread making, wood roasting, even grilling.
The mission and passion of Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces is to make the fire work for you. The way humans relate to fire is primordial. We have used fire to warm our bodies, cook our meals, and kindle our spirits. Our team has the know-how to do this in a clean burning and environmentally smart way. Visit our store and experience the diversity. We have over 35 working units on display at the corner of Riverside and East Franklin. See us online at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that fits and works for you.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shamblat Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts. So come check out their pizza and wine bar, or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout, along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
You know how to use
to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526. 612-919-5526 or autotech.org. Here we go.
It is the Matt McNeil Show, 952-946-6205. We are going to just do one segment, but then all of a sudden it was like a Mike Douglas show. All of a sudden it had special guest stars coming out of nowhere all through the wall. So we're going to do another segment. We're going back out to the Minnesota State Fair with the Gailey Show and John Parker and Jim. And, of course, Greg Bakken is out there from our local show, Ghost Box Radio, which airs at night here. Ghosts, aliens, all good stuff like that. And then my privilege on this radio station is to be the lead-in the 5 o'clock hour here locally for Native Roots Radio. I'm Awake. Native American news you just don't hear anywhere else. And Robert Pilot is out there because we're actually, Robert, you are at your booth at the fairgrounds, right?
Well, yes, I am. Do you hear me all right?
Yes, we can, sir.
Great. I have these new expensive headphones, so I didn't want to bring them back. Yeah, we are here at the West End. We've been here 4 years, and my daughter and son-in-law pretty much run it, and I support it, and Wendy and I support it, and it's been a gangbusters today. And come on down and see us. We're in the West End by the windmill in the old building they still have down here. It used to be the history center down here or something.
Well, is it still a history center, or did they get rid of that?
Well, they have a building that is probably about 25 yards away that is the history center, but it isn't like that old rickety, what they have, like a
train car. Yeah, the train car back there.
I think one year I fell through the floor, but I didn't know who to sue, and the fair is pretty powerful, so I just, my tetanus went on my way.
Okay, so you guys are there. I know exactly where you're at. You're kind of by where the gondolas come on in, the sky ride comes on in, and then of course the pickle stand. You are coming in pretty heavy duty as far as crowds go, but it's hard to have a bad time there. I mean, although the location here next to the taxidermist, I mean, that's that's like a typewriter repair place. But I mean, there's so many people there. I mean, it sounds like it's packed by you guys.
Yeah, well, we're kind of off the beaten path, which is nice. But it's also too, we're open till 9 out here, and as the fair progresses, it gets dark out early, and we see spirits next door. So be careful when you come out here. Bring your sage, bring your medicine, and bring good thoughts because literally it's a slaughterhouse right next to
and once again, I'm just going to say this for everyone listening everywhere. If we would only listen to the Native Americans, we wouldn't be in this mess. So maybe we should be starting to listen to what they do and say and understand that they have all of our best interests at heart.
Matt, I just got to say this real quick. Greg and I were talking, of course, in commercials to your show, John. So we were listening to your show.
Always, 100%.
And goodbye from your sponsors, too. But we were just saying how great you are and uplifting you are to our shows. And I just want to say that any chance I can get. I told the story when I first met you and how you listened to our show when we were on 1 hour on Saturdays and how you thought it was a great show. And that was really uplifting and Greg, you had some thoughts too about that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, every day, Matt, you've been very good in reminding me to send you the guests and stuff that we're going to have on. And
Wait, you can do that?
well, I mean, he will talk about the guests in his own fashion, mind you. So don't ever have someone called Moon Girl on your show.
She has a skill. Moon Girl has a skill, and well, I mean, I'll say it like this, guys. I mean, it's okay. I can't tell you how happy I am to be on this station, WCPT, KKNW. I was last weekend. I ran into a guy who said there's no talk radio anymore. It's either a bunch of right-wing guys screaming at the top of their lungs or sports guys, and having variety. And I love the WCPT lineup. I mean, Patty Vasquez is my bestie in Chicago. I love that entire lineup they have out there. People talking about issues, people talking about things. Out in Seattle as well, KKNW. They talk about issues, wide variety of topics, wide variety of hosts. This is what it used to be like. And there's a part of me that just loves being on this station. And for goodness sakes, I want to remind people that this still exists out there. And it's not all, it's not all celebrities doing podcasts or, rightos screaming about stupid. For goodness sakes.
Well, I am a legend in my own mind. So I do want to call you on that.
You're right though. We don't need any more celebrities talking to celebrities podcasts.
That's true.
No more true crime. We need more of what AM 950 is doing. And I just, from our neck of the corner at 2:00, it's really amazing how the station has embraced the community, so many different cultural communities, and put them together and developed them and supported them. And you have been such a huge part of that as well. And so, you are leading the way here, and we really appreciate that.
But I won't tell you then, John, that tonight my guest is about true crime. But that's okay.
Greg, who do you have on tonight? Let's find out it's Greg. It's Tanya Helliwell, right?
Yeah, and I want to say that I was kind of hoping to hear what you had to say, because this is like true fodder for you, Matt. Tanis wrote a book about her life with a leprechaun. So I figured that this is the sort of thing that really kind of ignites.
Okay. A leprechaun, you say? A shorter Irish fella. That's a
leprechaun.
Hey, Matt, I want to give a shout out to Chicago too. We're on Native Roots Radio's on there, the best of, and again, on progressive stations across Turtle Island. I'm on Civic Media too, which is huge in Wisconsin and northern Minnesota. WOJB, 100,000 watt native-owned station in Wisconsin. We wouldn't be doing this. I was telling the story too. I did my second show, and there was a producer there that's no longer there at AM 950, and it was like we were all uptight and everything. Going, how did we do? And he said, well, it really doesn't matter because 20,000 people just heard you.
But yes, love to WCPT listeners in Chicago.
All the WCPT guys, and of course, just really quick, two things here. We have to get Robert's show down. I think Arizona, Southern Utah, Navajo Nation. We need to get that on some radio stations down there, because we need to have the word spread. But I will also say this: it should be on every market, because for goodness sakes, there is such a lack of Native American news in this country. It's sick. That all being said, I want to get back to the leprechaun thing. Okay.
Who doesn't?
So he has a pot of gold, but needs a roommate. You say
you need to listen to the show to know for certain. That's
Wait, how does the true crime part fit in? Does someone murder the leprechaun?
Does the leprechaun solve crimes? Is like it's an NCIS?
The leprechaun has superpowers. Think of Spider-Man, but instead think of four-leaf clovers. And actually, I have no way to finish that. But
okay. Is the mystery that is the item that disappeared Lucky Charms? I just want to ask.
Well, yes, but not the cereal.
Okay. I love me a bowl of Lucky Charms. Gentlemen, I'll tell you what, it sounds like a good time out there. Have a great time the rest of this day out there. Robert, you're going to be broadcasting through the entire fair out there, correct?
Heck no. Tomorrow today.
Just out today. All right, good. You guys got the whole crew out there. If you're anywhere near the fairground, stop on by and go out and visit them. but as well also just this is the reason why local radio is important. So WCPT, AM 950, KKNW, make sure you support your local radio stations. Greg Bach and Ghost Box Radio, John Parker, Jim from the Daily Show, Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio, all at the Minnesota State Fair. Guys, enjoy a pronto pup, okay? I'll be out there myself on Saturday. We'll take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show here on your Thursday. Hi, Matt McNeil here. You're listening to the best progressive radio in Minnesota. It's AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community, and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
The Brave New Workshop is a Minneapolis tradition and the nation's longest-running comedy theater, finding ways to make people laugh about things that should make them cry for over 65 years. And who doesn't need a good laugh right now? Seriously, who doesn't need a laugh? Come see their fall show, Hippocalypse Now, a hilarious look at a world where what people say and what people do are completely unrelated. Playing now through November 1st at the Dudley Riggs Theater in Minneapolis. Tickets available at hennepinarts.org. That's hennepinarts.org.
KTNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP, or visit snapconstruction.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 82. Tonight, partly cloudy with a lower on 67. And Friday, a chance for thunderstorms with a higher on 78. With a 4.9 rating on Google and over 21,000 reviews, Zero Res is Minnesota's ultimate carpet cleaner. Right now, they have their Labor Day sale where you can get 3 rooms Zero Resified for $119 plus $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book at ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZERO-RES.
Broadcasting in the evenings on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. In the nighttime hours in Seattle, 1150 AM, KKNW. And, of course, in Minneapolis, St. Paul on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota. It's the Matt McNeil Show for your Thursday. Good to have you here. And, hey, you want to know the truth is, can I just say something? This is great about the stations that I'm on right now and the markets that are listening to the main markets are going to listen to me. I'm not saying what's going on at the State Fair to try to impress anyone in Chicago. Chicago is a freaking amazing town. I'm going to be coming out there. I got tickets to the art museum. We're going to do a boat tour on the river, which I'm looking forward to that. Going back out to Second City. Might go catch a Cubs game, Cubbies, and just, everything. I mean, Chicago is amazing. And I'm just doing the touristy stuff and scratching the top of that town. That town is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Seattle, I've been in your city multiple times, and I love it. You got so many things. The Space Needle it's iconic. You go up there, it is good fun. But I love going down to Ivar's and go and get clams. And that's for me, as a guy that grew up in Rhode Island. I love good seafood. And when I saw clams, I'm like, yum. And so I haul the kids all in there and I go out there and do that. Oh, love that. And once again, I'm just doing the touristy things. I'm not even scratching the surface. I find it amazing when you think about kind of the democratic cities and how much freaking fun they are, while Republicans who are terrified of going into these cities sit there and they the crime spree, hellhole, ghost town, they've taken over, no go zone. That's what they do. And the reality is I think they're jealous, man. I think they're jealous. I don't know what Boston's an amazing town. Holy God, I love going to Boston. I do like going to New York. New York is good fun out there. Portland, hey, it's got some issues, but it's a lot of fun out there in Portland. San Francisco, God, I love San Francisco. And yeah, do cities have problems? Anytime in the history of the world, when you have massive populations living in close-knit communities, you're going to have some problems, unless you're someplace like, North Korea, where basically if you have a problem, they take you out back and they shoot you. The reality is that these towns, they're just so much fun. And it's nothing. I have been out in rural America. The countryside is gorgeous. I think it's really pretty. There's a wholesomeness that you get out there. If you've ever lived in a small town like I have, you start, you'll do all the fun things in your one town. You get generally over the first few weeks that you're there. And then you start going around to the fun things in the other towns around. And generally by 3 or 4 months down the road, you're starting to drive 45 minutes to an hour to try to find some things to do, because you've done all the things a bunch of times. And it's not that it's not fun or not a great quality of life. It's just different. And if I can't even imagine what it'd be like not living in a great city like a Chicago or a Seattle or a Minneapolis. There's so much to do. There's so many things to see. It's such an amazing, and for the most part, amazing quality of life. And I'm not saying these cities are perfect. We all have problems, but I really kind of get torqued by the Republicans and their continued message to try to basically vilify the quality of life that we have in these towns. And I'm tired of it, man. I mean, if you're not happy, don't sit there and badmouth somebody else. Go find your happy place. And that's reality. And I'm just going to say, if you're not happy where you are, you've got one trip around on this spinning rock. Stop being a miserable jackass and go find your happy place. For God's sakes, go be happy. And no, you going up on Twitter and doom scrolling and trolling ain't a good quality of life. As a matter of fact, I can't even imagine what it must be like when you turn 40 years old and you look at what you accomplished in your life, and your entire life has basically been attacking people on social media and realizing, wow, I'm a loser. Go live your life, man. And can I make a suggestion? If you're looking for a nice quality of life, Chicago, Seattle, Minneapolis, St. Paul, doors are open, man. Come on in. Come on in. I do have to get into something negative here. First of all, Trump is going on patrol. Well, he's going to hit the streets of Washington, D.C. on Thursday night, join patrols as part of his administration's extraordinary federal takeover of law enforcement in the Capitol to solve a crime problem that really didn't exist. I'm going to be going out tonight with the police and with the military, of course, Trump said Thursday in an interview with radio host Todd Starnes. Sorry. So we're going to go do a job. National Guard is great. They've done a fantastic job. Yeah, militarized police. I mean, by the way, if you haven't seen it already, South Park does take a few good swipes at them at the taking over of D.C. The outing, one that would likely involve in-depth security planning under normal circumstances, was not announced as part of the president's public schedule. White House officials told Politico that details about the appearance are forthcoming. Early this month, the president placed the Washington police force under federal control and began deploying hundreds of federal agents and D.C. National Guard troops to the city for a crackdown on what he claimed was rampant crime, despite statistics showing a sharp recent decline in crime in most major categories in D.C. Republican states later sent National Guard troops there to join their own. By the way, National Guard states where basically, let's remind people, I think Texas sent some National Guard troops. Texas, they still haven't recovered from that flooding that happened on the 4th of July. But hey, now they've got National Guard troops they can send over to D.C. to I don't know, guard a Starbucks. I don't know. Federal operation was low public support within the Capitol. Estimated 8 in 10 D.C. residents opposed the takeover. But you see, that's what a military takeover is. They're not there because people want them to be there. They're there because they have to get control. And the next thing is we're going to suspend your ability to vote on elections because you guys are just too passionate. We need you to calm down before we have another election in this town. Yep, it's ugly. That is ugly. I would, part of me, I know that some people in D.C. are going to protest, and good for you. If you have the right to protest in this country, I will remind people that Donald Trump one time did a little photo op where he walked down the street, held a Bible upside down in front of a church and said, "I love the church. Church is great. Church. Here's the Bible. Church." And of course, every Republican said, "He's the most Christian man ever." Meanwhile, the protesters that they had to clear on out, they brought in, didn't they bring in prison guards to beat them, to basically beat the people in the street? Be careful in D.C. All right, be careful. And also, everyone films everything. And I want to, there's one quick little side note on that part. I was reading an article that journalists, the same people who've been sucking up to the Trump administration, good call, guys. Anyway, they're now all concerned that the government is going to start storming the press corps and demanding answers on who's leaking what. And clearly in an effort to stop people from seeing what's really going on. If I may suggest a strategy, before you say, "Oh, I've got this video that shows blank," whatever the case may be, I've got this video that shows these troops beating people in the streets with, it's ugly, it's horrible. If you see that, you have video of something like that, don't send it to a news outlet, post it on social media and tag the news outlets. That way, and not just one, post it on every freaking social media network you can. Because sure, I have zero doubt that Twitter might try to take it down, or maybe even Elon Musk, who's Trump's BFF now. He might try to take it off all them, but you got Blue Sky, you got Discord, you got TikTok, you got all these other ones. Put it out there, tag all the media outlets, and get it out there. And yeah, it's out there, but it's out there. That's the point. You might not be able to say, "Well, hey, may I get $50 from the news outlet?" No. You might not get that, but at least you're going to be able to get the evidence out there of, potential wrongdoing. So a suggestion for you, as it's probably going to get ugly in DC tonight. The other thing I want to bring up is this, and when did the world decide that Donald Trump was never going to be held accountable for anything? He's a serial sexual assault. He, criminal. He basically is. He's kind of a rapist. There's legit evidence he raped children. That he did that. He is bankrupted almost every business he's run. He's stolen from charities that he's run. He cheats at golf. He's a horrible person. He's ogled his own daughter. He is truly one of the worst human beings that has ever lived. And for some reason, I just don't know why. What the F? How in the world did people decide that Donald Trump was just never going to be held accountable? And no, it's not everybody's lying. No. If anyone else on the planet had had as many people accuse them of sexual assault as they have accused Trump, they wouldn't even be on the streets. They would have already pled out. They'd be in jail. Donald Trump has, God, I don't know what, the 30th or 40th or 50th person say, yeah, he raped me. And they say, it's another liar. I just don't get it. He's your guy. I saw this biblical villain for who he was back in 2016. And I was stunned that he won in 2016 because he said he's a biblical villain, for God's sakes. And you guys are, he's owning the libs. Now he's stealing every benefit you have, putting the money in his own pocket, getting rid of Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, destroying the economy. I'll get to that here in a sec. And even the things that somebody actually has the guts to take him to court and he is found guilty of is being wiped out. New York Appeals Court throwing out a massive civil fraud penalty against Trump, ruling on Thursday the state's lawsuit accusing him of exaggerating his wealth. The decision, which was not unanimous, came 7 months after the Republican turned the White House. A panel of 5 judges in New York's mid-level appellate division said the verdict, which stood to cost Trump more than $515 million and rock his real estate empire, was excessive. You mean the guy who's manipulating his cryptocurrency right now and jamming billions in his pocket? After the guy who's basically having a conga line of gifts and money brought to him at the White House? After finding that Trump engaged in fraud by flagrantly padding financial statements that were lenders and insurance, Judge Endergren ordered him to pay last year $355 million in penalties with interest. The sum topped out to $550 million. The total, combined with penalties leveled over some other Trump Organization executives, including Trump's sons, now exceeds $527 million with interest. While the injunctive relief order by the court was well crafted to curb defendants' business culture, the court's disgorgement order, which directs the defendants pay nearly $500 million to the state of New York, is an excessive fine that violates the 8th Amendment of the United States Constitution, said Judges Diane Renwick and Peter Moulton, wrote one of several opinions shaping the appeals court ruling. The judge had also barred Trump and his sons from corporate leadership roles for several years. Those restrictions were paused pending appeal, and Trump delayed payments by posting a $175 million bond. The appeals court dismissed the financial penalty imposed, but left room for further appeals in the state's highest court. The panel took nearly 11 months to issue its decision, far longer than typical, because they're trying to figure out how they were going to sell it to the masses that here we are, once again, going to cover up for, he's just a little child. He's just a little child. He's a serial sex offender who basically is the most corrupt businessman that's ever lived. For God's sakes. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with All Energy Solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
This is Alex Knorr from Buzzcut Mowing, a young, hardworking entrepreneur serving the Southwest Metro with affordable lawn care. I take the hard work off your plate with weekly mowing. I also offer leaf cleanups, aeration, dethatching, tree trimming, and mulch installation. I'll keep your lawn beautiful so you can enjoy your weekends with the people who matter most. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com. That's buzzcutmowingmn.com.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. Well, let's take a look at the Trump Horrible Economy Roundup. And yeah, by the way, apparently there's in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, there's a bunch of economists meeting right now. You know, by the way, as far as cost savings, you probably could have done someplace other than Jack. Never mind. The irony of it all. We're economists, so we're going to go one of the most expensive places on the planet. Anyway, they're meeting in Jackson Hole, and what's interesting is even there is this, hey, there's a lot of potential here, but boy, we're starting to see some real troubling trends. You think? Let's start off with the housing market. There was more inventory on the books this last month, which, you know, it says like, oh, that's good. It's not really. See, I want to go back to the housing crash of 2008. Now, that was much worse. I mean, we are nowhere near. The housing market right now is nowhere near as is in jeopardy as it was back then. I want to be very clear. I'm not going to exaggerate anything. But what I will say is the reason why the housing market was so bad was because there was a ton of volume and no one was buying. People who had interest-only loans and that were at 4 years were desperately trying to sell a house that was worth $200,000 for $800,000 and wondering why no one was buying. That was good times. I remember everyone crying. Anyway, apparently we've talked about the housing market. There are some markets, particularly in Florida, which are kind of canary in the coal mine markets when it comes to the housing market. And they've all started dropping like, it's big. This housing numbers, there's a lot of bad things in this. The more inventory was clearly taking the pressure off prices. So the median price of an existing home sold in January and July was $422,400. But those are increases. So they're taking the pressure off of prices, but they still increased. You have more inventory and the prices are still going up. That's not good. Now, granted, most of the price increases seem to be in the wealthiest, big, the extreme, situations, but they basically they've been a record high price for the month of July, so it's as high as it's been at this point. Activity continues to be strongest on the higher end of the market. Sales of homes priced at $1 million rose 7.1%. So basically the super duper fancy ones. Look, we got a pool in the pool. Anyway, they basically those houses, they rose 7.1%, but sales on houses between $100,000 and $250,000 declined 0.1%. Sales of homes priced below 100,000 dropped 8%. So you're getting a glut of houses on the market that are on the lower end. And by the way, where are the people that were in those houses? It's now taking longer to sell a home. The average home in July sold in 28 days, up from 24 days the year before. First-time buyers also fell slightly, representing 28% of sales, down from 30% in June. Investors made up 20% of all transactions, up from 13% of July. So basically, vulture capitalism is buying a fifth of all the houses in the United States. I'm going to guess they're not buying the cheap ones. They're trying to buy the expensive ones. But still, that's a little concerning. There's not a lot of good there. The president of the national, how about bad Trump economy number 2? The president of the National Corn Growers Association says Brazil's 18% tariff on U.S. ethanol imports is unreasonable. Kenneth Hartman Jr. tells Brownfield Brazil was once the top market for U.S. ethanol producers. The tariff basically was a free fall for us selling ethanol into the Brazilian market. We're just frustrated with this because obviously we got a big corn crop coming here. Yes. Now, he goes on to praise Trump, although, funny story, Trump's the reason why Brazil ain't buying our ethanol right now. I know. But yet he goes on to praise him. Here's the point where you want to put this in perspective. Remember the other day when I was talking about liquor sales in Ontario alone in Canada? U.S. liquor, hard liquor and wines was basically non-existent. And that's hundreds of millions of dollars of lost money. That was liquor in Canada. Let's go to Brazilian ethanol. U.S. ethanol exports to Brazil have decreased. It was in 2018, it was $761 million that the Brazilians were taking from us, and $761 million to $53 million now. $53 million, and now it's dropping off, and that's now dropping off the cliff because of these new imports. Now, I don't know. I'm no expert, but I'm going to say $761 million hole in the ethanol industry ain't a good thing. We've talked consistently about the soybean crops. Bad economy number 3 for Trump. Farmers in the upper Midwest might have fewer options in delivering new crop soybeans this fall. Southwest Minnesota farmer Bob Worth says basic levels of the region are anywhere from 92 cents to $1.25 under Chicago Board of Trade futures. He expects them to widen during harvest. We could be looking at a difference from the Chicago Board of Trade to what you get locally at 160, 170 basis. They're basically saying they don't want any of the beans. It's going to be a serious situation. He tells Brownfield News that there are several reasons, including the lack of demand from China. You think? Once again, funny story. That's Trump. Trump did that. And now you don't have a soybean market. And I said this, China can silently wipe out the ag sector in the United States. They're taking some pork, not a lot. They're taking a lot of pork from Australia and Brazil right now and Argentina. But the soybean market, there is actually a really big problem in the soybean market. And China just doesn't have to take it. You can put imports, you can put tariffs on it. They're just saying, no, we're not taking any soybeans in. These are not good signs. And like I said, these are just, okay, these are 2 ag sector stories and one in regards to the housing market. But the currency market is still getting clobbered. The bond market is still unstable. And I keep hearing of layoffs and layoffs and layoffs. You can't have a system like this work and not expect it to fall off the freaking edge of the cliff. And that's where we're at right now. This seems to be falling off the edge of the cliff. I hope I'm wrong. Hey, I will eat crow all day long if I'm wrong on this. But I don't think October is going to be a good month in this country. I do not, because that's when earnings come out, and there's a reason why most of the stock market crashes happen in October. I think another one's coming. Chicago, Seattle, have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. Minneapolis, St. Paul, hour 2 up next.
Crooners is a classic supper club with a wide
The new DeWalt Elite Series power tool accessories are built to last for the pro who doesn't stop. With precision fitment, durability, and impact resistance, finishing jobs faster has never been easier. Shop the new DeWalt Elite Series at an everyday low price, exclusively at Lowe's. We help, you save.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at Fighting Blindness.
Hey, Francois, how are you enjoying the state fair? Oh, you really do love those macaroons from Nicolette's, don't you?
Oh, ils sont merveilleux.
I've heard there's great new flavors, cotton candy, root beer float, sweet corn, and mini donut.
Très, très bon goût.
Oh, plus they have 12 other gluten-free flavors. It's so great you support a local, small, woman-owned business.
Bien sûr, avec plaisir.
Visit Nicolette's in the West End Market between Lulu's and the Blue Barn. See you at that great Minnesota get-together.
Overwhelmed trying to make sense of Medicare? As a licensed advisor, I can help you determine your healthcare needs and evaluate your options. I'm Harvey Pearl of Pearl & Company, and I want you to have the peace of mind knowing you have the best coverage available. You deserve an advocate you can trust and coverage you can rely on. And there's no fee, ever. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. Call me now at 651-303-8889 so we can strategize together.
The Brave New Workshop is a Minneapolis tradition and the nation's longest-running comedy theater, finding ways to make people laugh about things that should make them cry for over 65 years. And who doesn't need a good laugh right now? Seriously, who doesn't need a laugh? Come see their fall show, Hippocalypse Now, a hilarious look at a world where what people say and what people do are completely unrelated. Playing now through November 1st at the Dudley Riggs Theater in Minneapolis. Tickets available at hennepinarts.org. That's hennepinarts.org. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 82. Tonight, partly cloudy with a lower on 67. And Friday, a chance for thunderstorms with a higher on 78. Make it a night to remember at Crooner's Supper Club. Incredible live music, 4-star food, handcrafted drinks, and first-class service, all in the classic supper club setting. Don't miss out. Visit croonersmn.com to plan your perfect night out. That's croonersmn.com. Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show here on your Thursday, opening day of the Minnesota State Fair. We are not live out there. We haven't been out live out there. I think 2014 was the last year I did it out there. It just got to be too chaotic. And the reality is that I got too many things I got to get out there. I got to talk about. I'm glad I'm doing this in the studio, although I am looking forward to getting out there to the State Fair. This hour, I got 2 things here I want to make sure I mention. First of all, I've got pairs of tickets to give away to Grease over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Of course, Grease, the classic American musical, playing over there through September. I've got 2 pair of tickets to give away a little bit later on. Listen for your chance to win. Ooh, ah, that's right. Chance to go see Grease over at Chanhassen Dinner Theater, and the great food, too. I should mention, we're going to be talking a lot about food here in a second, but great food over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. I always have a good time over there. The second thing I also want to mention is our offer is still open to the new corporate headquarters based here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Taco John's. Once again, Taco John's moved their corporate headquarters to the city of Minneapolis. Welcome. I'm glad you guys are here. To commemorate, if you want to sponsor the station for a week, I will name the show 6-Pack and a Pound. I love that. Man, I'm all over that action. You're more than welcome. Get in touch with us, Taco John's. I'm ready to do this for you. Mwah. Thank you for being here. The Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Well, Patrick, what day are you going out to the fair? Patrick, are you going to go out to the fair on Saturday, perchance? Is that the day?
I'm not sure. Maybe Sunday.
If you go out Saturday, text, just stay in touch with me. I'm out there Saturday. I'm going to go out there Saturday. And if you come out that day, let me know. We'll go find, I'll do the bucket of pups. You know, Pronto Pup sells them in a bucket.
Oh yeah.
Oh, if you're out there on Saturday, let me know. I'll go get a bucket of pups.
Cool.
A bucket. That's one of the best things. But I'm going to head on out there some people, it's apparently a contest to be the first person there. Minnesota State Fairgrounds may not be wasn't necessarily open. There was a line forming outside the gates. The father and son, Scott and Nicholas Schwartz, were set to be the first fairgoers at 7 a.m. sharp to celebrate Scott's birthday. Arrived at 7 a.m. Wednesday, just beating out Mary Jane Burgett and her parents. So you sat outside the fairgrounds for a full day. Okay. They had taken the unofficial first prize over the last 2 years. Now now it's going to be people out there for 2 freaking days beforehand. Yikes. The groups are passing the time. They pass the time with cards, board games, and even art. They had, discussion about what they're going to do first. The food, said Scott, would probably start off with some mini donuts, move over to the Midway Men's Club for a cheeseburger, some sauteed onions. Yes. Maybe go over to the dairy building for some malts. If anything's not open, I might get breakfast, but when things open, I might go down the yellow slide. Yes. Lots of food and then jolty rides. Good thinking. In case you're worried, there's no bad blood to be in front of the line shakeup. While they were waiting, Mary Jane even made a birthday card for Scott. How nice. Very sweet. The other thing I want to bring up here, and this is, Patrick, here we go. The biggest fair vendors this is from last year. Obviously, we just started the state fair this year. These are the highest grossing vendors last year. I'm going to give you the mulligan on the first one. Sweet Martha's Cookies. How many locations are there, Sweet Martha's? Is it 3?
I think it's 3.
Yeah.
There's the one by the grandstand.
Yeah.
There's one next to the WCCO booth. And I can't quite remember where the other one is right now.
4.9 million. Number one out there. Not even close. Not even close. Isn't the other one over off by the haunted house out back in that area?
It kind of sounds right, but I go around that area a lot and I can't place it there.
Machinery Hill. I wonder if it's up on Machinery Hill. Anyway, okay. So Sweet Martha's Cookie. We just mentioned the number 2, Pronto Pups. All righty. John Parker mentioned the third one, Mousetrap. Mousetrap, the cheese curds, is number 3. And you want to take a wild guess on what the number 4 food vendor is every year out there?
I'm going to go pork chop on a stick.
No, it's not in the top 10. We kind of mentioned it, the Perfect Pickle. That's the one right by the entrance by the grandstand there. That's 1.5 million they make. The French fries, 1.4. Here's one I can't believe. That's tied with the all-you-can-drink milk. Okay, I get it. It's milk. If it's a hot day, you're not exactly knocking back a quart of that stuff before you heave ho by the fish tanks at the DNR. But at the same time, I can't believe you still, even with it, all you can drink milk. I can't believe it still is. You're still making that kind of money. Cornrows comes in after that. Caveat. That's I think that's the egg roll guys, isn't that? They do those special egg rolls. Yeah. Carousel Barbecue. Is that your pork chop guys?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I was wrong. That's 9, and then the Blue Barn. That's the one over by Pilot and Crew, over in the Heritage Square there, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. It does help that you're probably one of the first things people see when they come in.
Well, they did that one thing. Wasn't it the potato crusted hot dog, or hash brown crusted hot dog or something like that a few years back? God, man, that had a line. You couldn't believe that line. Looking forward to it. I hope you have a fantastic time. If you can get out there, get out there. It is always a good time to go on out to the state fair. It's just, if for another reason, just to walk around and see how awesome the state of Minnesota can be. 952-946-6205. So I want to actually take some time, if I can, to a little bit open a vein here, because I have been having a little bit of a rough week. But I'm having a rough week because of something that happens to every parent. My youngest kid is about to go off to college, and very proud of my children. I'm very proud of them. My son's already graduated from the University of Minnesota with a mathematics degree, and he was honor roll, and he's got a great job, and he's happy. And of course, he's living here in the Twin Cities, and I couldn't be prouder. My girls, one is about to be a junior in college, the other one's going to be a freshman in college, are both heading on out as well. And I am in this really weird thing. And once again, I understand. What I'm about to talk about is something. There's a lot of people out there who are like, I know, Matt. I know. I remember these days. There is a level of me which is excited because there is a freedom here I haven't had in 26 years or 25 years to basically do what I want to do when I want to. I'm not on a school calendar anymore. Oh gosh, I couldn't. There were a few years, and I mean, you know this if you were a parent and your kids played summer sports, where you had basically your one vacation window was like the 29th of July to like the 10th of August. And if you didn't take a vacation, you weren't going to get it in because you had sports all the way up to that point. And then the high school sports started up in early August. And so, yeah, it was a nightmare. And of course, during that week, a lot of things are booked up. It became a mess. It was hard. I mean, that's why I went down to visit my mom in South Carolina and in Savannah, Georgia in early August. Oh my God, was it hot? It was ungodly hot down there. And I'd wake up every morning and sweat. And that's why I was wearing black all the time, because at least it wasn't showing as noticeably. I learned to stay away from white shirts at that point because it was, hey, see-through. There you go. Is there a show on here? The idea of the freedom and what I'm going to do now as a empty nester is somewhat exciting. And I'm looking forward to that. I am. I really am looking forward to that things. I'm actually kind of kicking around the idea of maybe printing out some of my photos and putting them out there and see if people want to buy some of those, because I've had a few that I thought were actually pretty good. We'll have to see. Of course, you can see those in the calendar. And once again, the new calendar is coming. We'll get more details on that before too long. Part of me is very, very sad. I'm going to take this as a sign that I'm a decent father. I'm at least someone that cares for my kids. Has always placed, when I was younger, I thought it was like, was I supposed to be a radio broadcaster? And I feel like I'm an okay radio broadcaster. I mean, exactly. We can put some spit and polish on this pig. Sure, why not? But then I had kids and I realized, actually, no, the thing I was most supposed to do was be a dad. And I love being a dad. I love being a dad to my kids. I spent a lot of time over the last few weeks looking back at photos of kids at various stages in their lives, at various points, at school functions and band concerts and sporting events. Just on some of those hikes. I mean, because reminder though, when we started the hiking and the photos, which led to the calendar, and that was back in the COVID year. And I was looking around. I remember looking around at my kids. I was like, oh no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to just sit in our house. We're going to go on out. And we got to the parks and we hiked around in the parks and had a good time with that. Really good time with that. And I looking back at some of the pictures of the kids who I forced to come on out because, I'm not going to have them sitting around the house just, being socially distant. You being a parent is a stages thing. I still today I'll go to the Y and work out, and they're doing the summer drop off over there, and I'll see a little kid who is like, dum de dum de dum, I like puddles, and I was like, oh gosh, I miss that. I miss when puddles were a thing. And it stops you as an adult who's like, oh yeah, puddles can be kind of fun, can't they? Or cracking ice with your feet. When you're walking down the street and you get those little air pockets of ice. Remember those? Picking an apple off a tree. Pumpkins. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten how much fun Halloween is. Seeing your kids proud. because they accomplished something. Being support there when your kids, weren't as happy. I've enjoyed every stage of being a parent. And here I am now on the precipice. And I do realize this, and just a little clue for everyone out there who has kids that are younger than mine, you're not done yet. I can tell I've had, I'm still giving advice to my son who's once again, moving to, he's got his own place. He's heading on out and, giving him advice on, be careful with this. And here's who I recommend for insurance. And this is what the insurance you need and all these things. You still are not going to stop being a parent. That's for sure. But they're not there. Today, I went grocery shopping, and this is the first time all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I don't really have to get that much because they're not going to be here. Now, let's go back to the positive for a quick second. It was $200 less. My grocery bill today was $200 less than it was. And that still is with my son, at home until he moves out here at the end of the month. $200 less. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But now comes the sadness. Now comes the reality that they're going to be not at home. And sure, I know my youngest daughter, she is going to probably be in touch on a fairly regular basis once, text messages and video calls fairly regularly. But by the time you get to the second half of the first year, all of a sudden that starts tapering off because they're more comfortable at college. They know what they're doing. They're knee deep in college classes and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I'm going to hear less. And then eventually it gets to a point where, every 2 weeks I'll say, hey, son, you're going to be around. Yeah, sure. Great. Perfect. That sort of thing. I say this, like I said, because this is such an interesting feeling. The positivity and the negativity at the same time. The unbelievable excitement about, I can take a vacation in September, to the incredible sadness of, I miss my kids. But I will say this, and this is it's an old adage, but it is a true one. Cherish every freaking second. My oldest child was born in 2001, and it has been the blink of an eye. Hey, I had hair back then. I was attractive back then. What the? I know. 2001. And it was a blink of a freaking eye. And here I am. And yeah. I know for everyone who has kids that have gone off to college, exactly this. Yeah, I could have told you that. I'm not saying anything new that you haven't experienced. But I will prep everyone out there who's not at that point yet. It is a really odd thing. But also, being a good parent means I have to let my birds fly. They've already been soaring, frankly. They've already been soaring. Now it's just I get to watch them fly away a little bit further. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. I'll get back into some other topics. When I do return, it is the Matt McNeil Show here on your Thursday.
I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. Over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they'd like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. And if you need to freshen up your home for the fall, Zero Res is dropping a Labor Day sale just in time for the start of the school year. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 plus a free hallway and $75 off an air gut cleaning. Sale ends Labor Day. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. By the way, a quick little message to me on Blue Sky here from CE221. You're wrecking me with this discussion. Same age as you. My daughter left for UBC Vancouver in 2021. Most heartbroken I've been in my life. And my son is a high school senior this year. I plan to enjoy each second. Absolutely enjoy. First of all, big salute to our Canadian friends up there listening. Hey, you've always been right about the whole thing. All right. That being said, he's crazy. He's crazy. I have no idea what these people are thinking. He's crazy. Anyway, I'm all with you up there and all my best. Hey, let's give away those tickets right now. Why not? 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Of course, this is Grease over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. I've got 2 pair of tickets. 2 pair. So keep calling if the phone lines are busy. 2 pair of tickets. Caller number 5, caller number 6. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. You go get dinner and a show at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater with Grease. Good luck on that. Callers 5 and 6, you'll each get a pair of tickets to go see Grease at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Good luck. Once again, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. I want to take the next 3 stories and kind of go back to something that I talked about a little bit in the last hour in regards to, great cities. And there is this desired attempt to basically try to get us to self-loathe in the Twin Cities or any major metro area where Republicans basically, it's horrible there. And I'm like, dude, you're not welcome. You hate it so much, just stay out. I mean, we're having a great time here. And, I've often said, I had some very nice years in rural America where it was lovely. It was absolutely lovely. And, I had a really good time and I got a great appreciation of things. I don't begrudge or hate or, am disgusted by rural America. There's a lot of quality things out there. But for some reason, you guys, that's the only thing. It's terrible. And you guys never come here. I want to bring up three things here in regard to how good we've got it and just put things in perspective. And the first one actually has to do with something which is a little bit of a negative thing, but I want to make sure we don't screw this up. Metro Transit's progress at regaining bus and train riders since the pandemic has stalled. The system now ranks near the bottom among peers nationwide for its sluggish post-pandemic recovery. Ridership remains down about 45% from pre-pandemic levels, according to the Star Tribune analysis of the Federal Transit Administration data on this. Though the first half of this year, and then the frustration with local officials, ridership in the early 2020 was actually less than it was the same period of the year before. Among metros with transit systems similar to the Twin Cities, only Atlanta and St. Louis, facing their own sets of problems, saw bigger drops. Fortunately, Minneapolis' recovery is quite a bit below the U.S. average. This, according to the Urban Institute Principal Research Associate, who has studied transit recovery. It's not as bad as Atlanta or St. Louis, but I think there should be some soul searching in the metro area. Agencies across the country have centered their services on taking people to and from work before the pandemic are now operating in a different world. Many jobs are more flexible, and transit providers are still reckoning with the effects of pandemic-era services. Then slowly patterns came back in a different way. Basically, it just things changed after the pandemic. We feel like the investing in the fundamentals that should lead to a growing ridership over time, said Leslie Condaris, Metro Transit's general manager, and that increased service, but also improves the customer experience. Now, we are actually at a point where we are getting one of the greatest examples of how mass transportation can work, namely the state fair buses. That is one, and everything going to the state fair, it is one of the greatest bits of mass transportation you'll ever see. And can you imagine the nightmare? I do remember the nightmare of parking on a St. Paul Street 2 miles from the fairgrounds, hiking to the fairgrounds, hiking around there, just being exhausted when I got back. Unbelievable. Well, we've gotten better at it, and they get a lot of people in and out. So we had that story about the guy, and this is not taking away anything from his experience. He was on a train. He was coming back from a concert from St. Paul at night, and the late night situation on the trains is not good. Homelessness, drug use, that sort of thing. Since that time, I've actually heard from multiple people who have said, actually, during the day, that's not the story. That I get up in the morning, I go down, jump on a express bus, the bus, on a train, and I get point A to point B, and I don't have any problems. No one is harassing anyone. No one's bothering anyone. It's not a big deal. And as people said, well, I mean, everywhere in a major city, and anywhere for that matter, it's more dangerous at night. So is that necessarily a fair metric to gauge a metro transit system? The case? Well, let's be honest. The Republicans and the anti-mass transportation people are desperately trying to never spend a dime on mass transit. And this is one of those issues where you can see the hypocrisy of the Republicans. Republicans want to spend taxpayer dollars to turn the carpool lanes into a pay-tiered system for wealthy people to drive on the highway. To use that system, not only do you have to have a car, but you also have to have the financial wherewithal to basically be able to use and spend an extra $1.50, $2 per one-way drive on any given day to be able to utilize that advantage. So you're looking at a mass transit as a transportation policy, which is geared towards a very small sector of the economy, and somehow that's good. And it's no surprise. Republicans love this because it's for wealthy people. It's a class-tiered roadway system. Wealthy people get in really fast. Screw the rest of you guys. We don't care. And it should remind you, once again, when you look at that idea, if you're under the age of 16, you can't use that lane. If you're a limited income or you can't drive anymore, you can't use that lane. It is not a universal system. Any human being age 0 to 99 can get on a train, bus, and ride it for the fee that they pay. Any person can. And if you got rid of that, it would be a traffic nightmare in this town. But once again, As long as the wealthy people can zip over it and get to the Twin Stadium or to the Viking Stadium or to the Wild Stadium or to the Target Center and see their teams play, then they don't care. As long as there's no traffic when they want to go to a restaurant, they want this, that's okay. If we end up following these Republicans who are purposely and intentionally bad-mouthing mass transit because they want to give all that money to wealthy people, then in 10 years, when we realize we have a true nightmare scenario in the Twin Cities as far as transportation, we have no one to blame but ourselves. Now, I said this the other day when I brought up the story in regards to the individual who had the bad experience. Clearly, there should be police officers on trains and on platforms in the evening hours to keep things safe. That is an undeniable thing. That should be happening. And if people are using drugs, especially the illegal ones, on the train, they should be at the very least taken off the train and probably given a ticket. I don't think you really can, you shouldn't be arresting them necessarily, and told they can't go on the train again. If they're found on the train that night, they will get prosecuted for trespassing. I think that maybe that's what you do, but you have to have something to kind of clean up at the times when it's bad. But the reality is that's only a limited amount of time. And instead of the news media in this frickin' town always publishing the fricking right-wing talking points on the damn mass transit system we have, maybe, just maybe, we should be praising it and encouraging use in it. Because if it's gone, it'll be chaos, and nobody will bitch and moan more about the mass transit system being gone than the news media that can't badmouth it enough as it is right now. It took me 3 hours to get into town. Well, I got news for you. The Republicans are going to do the road expansion or build parking. They're not going to. 952-946-6205. So story number one, we need to appreciate the mass transit we do have. Let me come back. I got two more. I've got one out of South Dakota, which is nutsoid. When we do return, I'll get to that one. It is the Matt McNeil Show here on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way a fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Step into a world where magic and merriment come alive. Discover fantastical creatures, behold thrilling jousts, and meet your favorite characters of old. From rib-tickling gestures to spellbinding performances, the adventure never ends. Make memories that will last through the ages at the most magical village on earth, the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. Plan your visit today at renaissancefest.com. Huzzah!
Hi, Penny here from Nightingale in Minneapolis. Exciting news. During the warmer months, we're extending our charm to the patio. Imagine savoring your favorite dishes outside, surrounded by the lively energy of South Minneapolis near 26th and Lindale. And guess what? Nightingale's patio is not just a dining space. It's also dog-friendly. Craft cocktails, curated wines, and half-price bottles of wine on Mondays are still part of the deal. Open daily, 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with a full menu until midnight. Join us at Nightingale, where good times and great flavors come together.
Hi, I'm Corey Wisco, president of the Welshire. The Welshire is a community that provides memory care to its residents, and we have a location in Bloomington and also another one that we just opened in Medina, Minnesota. But the big question is that why do people come to Welshire? Many of the people coming to Welshire are coming from other memory care communities where they maybe haven't received bathing, they've had problems taking medication, or inconsistency with staffing. Welshire has never used a temporary staff. We always have our own people, and it's those people that make the difference. We have always felt it so important to have 24-hour nursing in the building. The other thing is you have to have an amazing activity team. Nobody employs more activity people than Welshire. Our activities begin in the morning, go all the way through the evening, 7 days a week. So if you have a loved one that needs memory care, come visit WelshireMN.com and book a tour today.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy tonight with a low of 68, then Friday rain and storms possible with a high of 78. Zero Res's Labor Day sale is going on now. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $119 plus a free hallway and $75 off an air duct cleaning. That's if you book with Zero Res right now through Labor Day, ZeroResMinnesota.com, or call 952-ZERO-RES and ask for the AM 950 special.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205 is the phone number. Patrick, we did give away, forgive me, I forgot to ask about this. We gave away 2 pairs of tickets to go see Grease over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Who are our winners?
Congratulations, Tom in Minnetonka and Emery in St. Michael.
Enjoy. Fantastic. Especially hello, St. Michael. Come on down. Enjoy that. Get to see Grease over at the Chan Dinner Theater. I got another pair of tickets to give away tomorrow. Make sure you're listening for that. All right. 952-946-6205 is the phone number. All right. So once again, a lot of this hour is going to be, we need to be thankful for what we have here in Minnesota and in the Twin Cities, and not waste it and not spoil it and not let people convince us that things are a lot worse than they really are. Here is story number 2 in this segment on this. In South Dakota. Now, I want to remind you, as I read this story, I want to remind you that there are Republicans still today, particularly in the western side of this state, who want to secede from Minnesota and join South Dakota. And all I want to say is good luck, bon voyage. Now, when these idiots proposed this before, first of all, every county manager and city manager in western Minnesota said, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Do you even know what you're talking about? Because there's this lie that Republicans have convinced themselves that all of our taxpayer dollars is funding everything in the Twin Cities. And actually, it's the complete and total opposite. The 7-county metro area basically subsidizes most of the rest of the state. There are a few other counties. St. Louis County, I think, does well. And, of course, Olmsted County with Rochester. But the rural counties need the Twin Cities metro area, or every one of them would take a massive cut in services. And as a matter of fact, I was actually for this. I mean, if these Republicans really want this, I have zero problem in saying a county can only spend as much money as they take in their taxpayer dollars. And that should be introduced. And I don't know if anyone did, but when I brought that up, I did have a Republican call in and say, oh, no one's asking for that. Because all of a sudden, faced with reality, they had to find some way to get out of it. Delicious. Now, I want to remind you, okay, there are Republicans even still today that want to secede and go into South Dakota. All right. This is from Northern Pines News. Actually, I will say this is from Blue Stem Prairie. Good friend Sally Joe out there, who's fantastic. I do love her. She's a wonderful journalist. Her last post on the issue was lawmakers hear calls for relief as South Dakota property tax task force meets in Aberdeen. This is crazy. So there apparently in South Dakota is a proposal to get rid of the property tax and put something called a $1.50 tax amendment into place. Here, let me explain this. South Dakota voters could face on the November 2026 ballot an initiated constitutional amendment from Mike Mueller, former state senator Julie Fry Mueller, and Matt Smith that would replace most local property taxes with a new retail transaction fee, $1.50 on purchases of $15 or more, and 10% on purchases under $15. So basically, and I can already tell you this doesn't make any damn sense, because that $1.50 on purchases of $15 or more. So if you buy something for $1,500, it's still only $1.50. but that's it. It creates the state property tax replacement fund to reimburse schools, counties, and cities. The LRC August 2025 review says the measure would affect state and local finances and require fiscal impact statements. It also flags single subject risks of sponsors that say the goal is to ease the property tax burden. If voters approve, the legislator would have to build the collection and distribute the system. Okay. This is crazy. It would replace, what does the amendment do? It replaces the local property taxes with a new $1.50 fee on retail purchases of $15 or more and 10% fee on purchases under $15. That's not going to replace your property taxes. I know they think it will, but I can already tell you, you are going to be way underwater. And South Dakota is not Minnesota. Minnesota, we actually spend money on and have quality services. It's a lot like, I've already talked about this. We talked about this earlier when that story came on out from Wallet Hub, where they were talking about the worst states for people with money right now are Texas and Florida. And it doesn't surprise me at all because, one, those states go on out there, and South Dakota is kind of in the same thing. They go out and they try to argue, it's like, you're going to get all your tax dollars back. And the implication is you're going to be a billionaire. So it's not a big surprise in Texas and Florida that in those states, there is a tremendous amount of debt because, no, they're not billionaires. They got a minimal tax break because they don't pay state taxes, but all the services that they need that those state taxes pay for in other states, they now have to pay a private company at a much higher rate to do said services. It's like fire departments. Sure, I mean, if you pay your taxes and they're pay your taxes go to pay the fire department, all the businesses pay it. Guess what? It's a discounted rate. It's probably going to be $15, $20 per year for you to have fire service as part of a property tax. If you don't do it, then it generally is like $100 contract service agreement per month to have a fire department out there. And there have been cases in states where that is done, where people that don't pay for the fire service, well, the fire service comes on out and all they do is watch to make sure your house fire doesn't burn any neighboring residences where they do have a contract. It's ugly. So no, it's this whole notion that things are so much cheaper here. No, they're not. They're actually far more expensive. You're generally having sales tax and property taxes to offset the lack of state taxes, but even still, you have a tremendous amount of services you have to pay for out of pocket. So it does not surprise me, Florida, Texas, and these other states that claim that things are so much better here are actually worse. And a reminder, South Dakota is not exactly a high bar anyway. Their education system is garbage. Their education system is garbage in that state. They don't pay people for anything. It's horrible. They've got some big problems. South Dakota's got some big problems. This, even with South Dakota's atrocious tax system, which is basically bare minimum taxes, this is not even going to come close to covering that cost. The sponsors who's behind it are Representative Mike Mueller, former state representative, state senator, Julie Fry Mueller of Rapid City, and activist Matt Smith. They argue property taxes are unfair because they continue to after the mortgage is paid off. All right. That's just stupid people doing stupid people talk. How would it affect schools and counties? The Legislative Research Council warns the measure could cause major revenue shortfalls for schools, counties, and cities. Lawmakers would need to rebuild the state's entire tax system to make up the difference. That's according to the Legislative Research Council's August 2012 review memo. It's not often you hear of a legislative review on a process that says, sweet Jesus, is this going to wipe us out? But that's basically what you got, is a sweet Jesus, this is going to wipe us out. Governor, I can tell you that. It's a 10% tax on things up to $15 and then everything. It's basically, you can tell it's one of those stupid far-right moron economic things where it's the real goal is to try to get the poor people to pay for things while the wealthy people bask in the freedom that, abusing the poor and the middle class gives them. That's what this is. It's just stupid. It's just dumb. It's South Dakota. Maybe you should put that on your billboards. South Dakota, it's just dumb, man. Governor Larry Roden and groups such as the Americans for Prosperity say the plan is regressive, hitting lower income residents hardest. Well, that's by design. That they want to hurt them. Have you been to Rapid City and seen their massive fields of mobile homes? Yeah, they're not exactly doing well already, but it's going to hurt them even more. Economists also warn it could destabilize funding of local services. Sewer, water, police. Backers will collect signatures to try to replace the measure on the 2026 ballot. If it qualifies, voters will decide whether to replace property taxes with the new purchase-based tax system. Oh, God. Well, and okay, it's a boon for us in Minnesota because if you're in Laverne or Pipestone or Marshall, hey, why pay that 10% tax over there, drive over, get all your groceries in Minnesota, and then drive back? It does not help you if, especially with South Dakota, Sioux Falls is relatively close to the borders of multiple other states where they're not going to have those taxes. And I guarantee on the first exit outside of South Dakota on any major highway out of that state, there will be, get your groceries cheaper here. It's that's what's going to really hurt. And no, there's just no way in the planet you can basically replace property taxes with a $1.50 tax. That's just goofy, man. But hey, all you Republicans who are like, you metro area people are robbing us blind. Do it. Come on. Do it. Watch these idiots over there do that. Pass that bill. Watch the voters go, yeah, go get this. Hey, by the way, why is the fire department not coming to my house now that it's on fire? Why are my kids basically just skipping school because there's no real school left anymore? As they get ready to vote for this. Dare you. Come on. Do it. Seriously. Do it. Come on. Do it. You wanna. You desperately wanna. Put forward that bill to secede. Put it forward. Put it forward for a vote. And basically let the Twin Cities metro area have all the revenue that we basically subsidize you with. I can't imagine the freaking utopia we'll have on the eastern side of the state, running from the Arrowhead region to Duluth, down to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Rochester. Heck, Mankato and St. Cloud, I guarantee you, there no way in the planet they're going to go with you. They're going to stay with us. Do it. Come on, you wanna? Come on, do it. Do it. Put forward the bill. Do it. Bon voyage. The funny thing is, and here's the real truth. A lot of the people out there in rural Minnesota who basically sit out there and say, those big bad metro people, they got a little secret. They're generally the corporate farm guys, and they don't live out there either. Actually, they're living in the metro area. They're living in the suburbs with their kids going to private school, and they only show up to the farm to do some posing at planting time and harvest time and act like, see, I'm a farmer. And the reality is they'd be here. So they can rouse you up to get you to fight for their cause, which will not punish them, because if you were dumb enough to actually get this passed and you join South Dakota, well, I guarantee you, they'll all be moving to the metro area and saying, hey, I don't know why you guys did that. 952-946-6205. One more story for you to be grateful that you are in Minnesota when I do return. It is the Matt McNeil Show for your Thursday.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
This is Mitch, owner of Junk Masters. Feeling overwhelmed by clutter? Spring's the perfect time to reclaim your space and peace of mind. Renting a dumpster is costly, and it all ends up in the landfill. Just show us what goes. We give usable items a second life by donating them. No calling all over town trying to figure out who takes what. We do the legwork for you. Easy, cost-effective, and local. There's no obligation. Visit junkmastersmn.com today.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Whoa.
The moment my son saw a redwood tree
It's huge!
is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. One final story for you. I'd be grateful here. I saw this. This is on TikTok. This is Kaim0309 underscore. KAIM 0309 underscore. And this was posted 3 days ago. Service industry in Georgia is less than the service industry in Minnesota. And she posts this thing. This is, I thought, an interesting little story. In Georgia, server minimum wage is $3.25. Holy God. $3.25. The average check tip was typically 10 to 15% for a 12-hour shift. 12-hour shift with maximum effort. I typically only come home with about $150 max. Wow. And for cost of living, it wasn't enough to keep my head above water. Currently, I'm on a journey to pay down all my current debt and work towards getting a car soon. So I've gotten back into the serving business in Minnesota after giving it up entirely in Georgia, doing the constant overworking and making little to nothing to show for it. Minnesota, Minnesota, I absolutely adore you. The wages here are far better, and Minnesota Nice is not a thing. Excuse me, Minnesota Nice is a thing and is not a sham. Every table is a 20% tip. As a server, I do this because I love connecting with people. I really do enjoy what I do, and I love giving people experiences they can remember. And here in Minnesota, these people love to chat and are by far the greatest people I've ever come across. I'm starting to realize that all the things I want to achieve are far closer here than they were in Georgia. Between two jobs, I plan to pay down almost $15,000 in debt and purchase a car by the time the next summer rolls around. Thank you to the beautiful people of Minnesota who've given me a shot at doing what I really love doing, and I'm happy to call this my home. Love you. I'm glad Kaim, Kaim 0309 _ glad you're here. I'm glad this is your home too. Holy God. Does it surprise you at all that these states that have horrible amounts of debt on the individuals are in states where they still pay $3.25 an hour for servers and argue, well, you're not getting tips. That's not on my. Even here, and as she says, we tip pretty good here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Minnesota. Even here, if she was getting paid $3.25 an hour. It's crazy, man. I want you to think about this because, once again, in the Twin Cities specifically, Republicans, every time we raise the minimum wage, are saying, you're gouging the business owner. Now, first of all, funny story, when they raised that minimum wage, every Republican in the state was, no restaurant's going to be open in the Twin Cities. Dude, I go to the Twin Cities there all over the place. Every restaurant I go into is freaking packed. So you're wrong again, but that's pretty much consistent with your track record. So you're wrong again. That being said, you give people a livable wage. You allow people to do what they want to do. And maybe, Minnesota can make up for the mess that Georgia is. Dear Lord, I'm glad you're here. For God's sakes, I'm glad you got out of that hellscape. Drive safe. You're heading out of the fair. Be careful. We are back for another show tomorrow. Have a good time. Native Roots Radio, I'm Awake with Pilot out at the fair comes up next. Until tomorrow, see ya.